Hello, my name is Jessa and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am the creatress behind the blog, The Nude Blogger. I am a naked yoga teacher and I'm also a nudist. So today I'm going to be sharing with you all part 2 of my FAQs or frequently asked questions about being a nudist. So in our last video, I covered 15 frequently asked questions that I get from the general public about what it's like to be a nudist and what it's like to be involved in the nudist community and the nudist lifestyle. So today we're going to do part 2. I've got 9 more questions. So we're going to get straight to it. I'm going to go into question 16. So if you want to, if you haven't checked out part 1, I encourage you to check out part 1. I've put the link below so that you can have a look at the 15 other questions that I get asked from people about what it's like to be a nudist. Alright, so question 16. What was your first time going nude in public like? So it was definitely a little nerve-wracking. My first time that I remember was at a nude beach, and at that stage I had been sunbaking topless for about 5 years at that point, at both textile and nude beaches, and I had been frequenting the nude beach at this point maybe for, it was probably a few months now. So I just remember laying there. It was a pretty quiet day at the nude beach and I just had the urge to go completely nude, to take my bikini bottoms off, which I hadn't done previously. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try this out today because it was a pretty quiet day and I'm gonna run into the water and come back and just sit on my towel. And so I did that. I took my bikini bottoms off and I definitely felt nervous. Like I wondered, are people going to stare at my vagina? Are people going to judge me and judge my body, or you know, just stare at me? And I quickly run into the water and I just remember this really beautiful sense of liberation that I felt, and the feeling of being in the ocean completely naked. For those of you who have experienced it, you'll know what I'm talking about. To just feel the water rushing over every single part of your body was just such a beautiful experience. And I remember looking back at the beach whilst I was in the water and realized that nobody was staring at me, and that, you know, the only person that was potentially judging me was me. And I realized that no one really cared because everyone else was already naked at that point. So I made my way back over onto the towel, and I just remember thinking, like, now I totally get it. I get the sense of liberation and the empowerment about being, you know, completely nude. And ever since then, I really never looked back. But there were definitely nerves at that point, definitely a sense of shame, you know, and I thought, you know, I've spoke about this in my journey into a nudist lifestyle, another YouTube video that I've shared on here about, you know, growing up in quite a religious and conservative family, the shame that I sort of held around nudity. And I thought, you know, as long as I cover my vagina, then, you know, I'm still keeping this sense of like sacredness. And, you know, when I took my bikini bottoms off, I realized that that really wasn't the case, that my body is still so sacred, naked or not. You know, whether my vagina is covered or not, my body is so sacred. So that was my first time going nude in public, and yeah, it was definitely a little nerve-wracking. So it just takes a little bit of courage. You don't have to feel completely confident to go naked, because I believe that confidence follows, and it's just really a matter of having a little bit of courage first and foremost. Okay, question 17. Do you ever check people out? Okay, so attraction is a very normal part of being human, and we'd be kidding ourselves if we said that we didn't find ourselves attracted to other people, clothed or naked. So, you know, of course, we're curious humans. Of course, we're going to check people out. We check people out when we're naked. We check people out when we're clothed. What I would be asking myself is, like, you know, if you're going to a nude-friendly event, to check people out is very different than going to a nude-friendly event merely to enjoy the non-sexual atmosphere of nudity, and then maybe finding yourself attracted to other people. I think that, you know, you may have, you know, a little bit, if that's your intention, if your intention is to go to a nude event to check people out, then your intention may not be very well aligned with the non-sexual nature of the nudity involved. But of course, you know, if there's someone that you find yourself attracted to, of course you're going to check them out. Like I've said so many times, attraction is a normal part of being human, and you know, we find ourselves attracted to people even when we're clothed, so it doesn't really change just because we're naked. And I also don't believe that being naked just makes you attracted to people. There's so many layers of attraction, and just being naked doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be attracted to every naked person you see. So yeah, I suppose as long as you're not gawking at people and making people feel uncomfortable by staring, I think it's okay that, you know, if you find yourself attracted to someone, you check them out and you just happen to be naked, but so long as you're not making people feel uncomfortable and you're not staring at them and ogling them and, you know, making them feel uncomfortable. So yeah. All right, question number 18. Most awkward nudist experience. I would probably have to say, you know, when I sort of first started out in the lifestyle, and there were a few situations in which, you know, I happened to see some men masturbating. That was definitely a little awkward for me, because I just hadn't really been privy to people doing that in public before. And not that it's a common thing in the nudist lifestyle, but it definitely has happened in some of, you know, in some very few, like on some very few occasions. And that's definitely a little bit awkward, because I don't personally go to the nude beach to want to have a look, to watch people masturbating. So yeah, that's probably the most awkward thing, because I wasn't used to it. I just wasn't expecting it, I suppose, and I was pretty new to the lifestyle. So yeah, that's my most awkward experience. And I think if you ever find yourself in that situation and someone's doing that and it makes you feel uncomfortable, that you say something, and that you ask that they respect, you know, the nature of where you are in the environment, the situation. And if you feel uncomfortable, just saying something, or maybe just relocating yourself somewhere else. All right, question number 19. What are the rules for pubic hair? There are no rules. Yeah, this is something I get asked pretty frequently, and even with my yoga classes, people wondering if there's like, if you have to, you know, if it's like you have to shave or wax or a full bush, whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. It's your choice, your body, your rules, your body, your choice. There are absolutely no rules. There's such a diversity. And again, the beauty about being involved in the nudist lifestyle is being exposed to a diversity of bodies and a diversity of choices and preferences. And that includes pubic hair. So there are definitely people that have full bush, and there are people that are just trimmed, and there are people that are fully bald. And yeah, it really doesn't matter. There's no rules. So question number 20. What do you do when you have your period? So I either just in the past, I've just worn a tampon without underwear. I've just rocked a tampon. Like, I've had my period on a few occasions when I've been teaching a mixed gender naked yoga class, same with my women's workshops, and I've just rocked a tampon openly. I didn't put underwear on. I just explained that I had my period, and if anything, I think it's a really amazing gateway into that really beautiful conversation, because that's another topic that I love. It's menstruation and periods and bleeding, and I think it's really important that we normalize periods as well. So yeah, I've just in the past just rocked a tampon. I've had women, I've had some women at my women's workshops who have had their period, same thing, they've just worn a tampon. Some of them have kept their underwear on. So that's, you know, that's totally an option, is that sometimes people will just keep their underwear on and either wear a pad, a tampon, moon cup. So yeah, otherwise you can always choose to keep it private if you wish. Otherwise, again, it's just a very normal part of being human, and it's a very natural part of being human, especially for those of us who bleed. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm totally open about it, and I really believe in the normalization of periods. So the more we talk about it, the more people are exposed to it, the better. Okay, question number 21. Do you think it's okay to bring my kids up in the nudist lifestyle? Okay, so I've had a few people ask me this, and I want to disclaim that I do not have children at this stage of my life. So I cannot truly speak from really personal experience of raising my kids in a nudist lifestyle, but from people I have spoken to who have had children, from what I have witnessed and my personal experience in the nudist lifestyle, I personally believe it is okay so long as you are obviously discerning. I have friends who have brought their children to the nude beach at some of our nudist friendly events, and yeah, their children have had a great time. And again, I think, you know, if your children are at an age where, you know, where they know the difference, then they should be able to wear clothes, or if they want to go naked, they should be able to go naked. But I think the most important thing is normalizing nudity in the home. Like I always say, it always starts in the home with you. So I believe, you know, in the importance of normalizing nudity in your own home, normalizing your nudity, your children's nudity, in the privacy and safety of your own home first and foremost. And yeah, if you know of any reputable beaches, I personally, you know, if and when I have children, would definitely bring them to the nude beach. And of course, it is about finding, I think, reputable places and being discerning. I think discernment is the most important thing. And always, you know, listening to your intuition, your gut. If something doesn't feel right, then you leave. But obviously, yeah, like I said, I cannot speak from personal experience. And if you've got, it's probably better, oh my God, I'm stumbling. Better that you maybe ask someone who is involved in the lifestyle, who has children, what their view is, their experience. Reaching out to someone, even if you don't know them, about it, if you know that they have children and they're bringing them up in the nudist lifestyle. So that's my personal say on it. Yeah. All right, question number 22. What's your favorite nudist destination? Oh gosh. To be honest, at this stage, I don't think I have a favorite. I always love going to the nude beach. I have a friend's place that I like to go to. I don't really have a favorite place. As disappointing as that answer may be, I don't have a favorite place at the moment. If and when I find one, I'll let you know if I end up having a favorite. Okay, question number 23. Does being naked around others so much take the spark out of your sex life? Or has your sexuality been desensitized? Absolutely not. So I think that is a very black and white sort of view of maybe equating nudity with sex. So if you equate nudity with sex and you think you're around nudity so much and that's your version of sex, then that would make sense. But to me, sex is about so much more than the naked body. Nudity is not sex, nor is sex all about nudity. If anything, my involvement in the nudist lifestyle has actually helped me to connect even deeper with my sexuality, because I believe you know, being connected to your sexuality and being sexually empowered is also about having a really oh, my light just went off. Having a really healthy relationship with your body and actually being able to be deeply connected to your body. So I think that, yeah, normalizing your own nudity, getting comfortable with your nudity, helps you to get more comfortable with your body. And I think that can help you to connect even deeper with your sexuality. So it absolutely has not desensitized me to my sexuality. And like I said, if anything, has helped me to connect even deeper with my sexuality. So yeah, I think working on self-acceptance, I think that spending a lot of time naked can help you to embrace a deeper sense of self-acceptance. And I think that that's very important in sexuality, and in cultivating a deeper connection to your sexuality. So no, it has not taken the spark out of my sex life. Okay, question number 24. Are nudists swingers? Not necessarily. So I'm sure that there are nudists who are swingers, and then there are nudists who are not swingers. There are swingers who are nudists, and then there are swingers who are not nudists, but they do not necessarily, one does not mean the other. So I know that there is a misconception that all nudists are swingers, or that all nudists swing, and that's just absolutely not true. It's a very ill-informed misconception about the lifestyle. And as I mentioned, you do not have to be a swinger to be a nudist. You do not have to be a nudist to be a swinger. They can both be very separate to each other, or you can be both. So for most nudists I know are not swingers. So yeah, I think it's always good to clarify that. But that brings us to the end of this FAQ session. I'm sure we'll have some more down the track, but it has been so much fun sharing really candidly about these questions, and thank you so much for sending in your questions, for being curious, and for also being open-minded to understanding about the lifestyle more deeply, and for wanting to expand your perception, your awareness, and your sense of understanding. So yes, I'm going to be making like a women's only sort of, well, not a women's only, but like an FAQ video for my sisters, which is more going to be directed at any females, any vulva owners who are interested in getting involved in the lifestyle. So thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.